Every evening, when the sun began to fall behind the dry hills, an old woman walked slowly toward the edge of the village. In her hands, she carried two heavy buckets of water. She walked past the last house, past the dusty road, past the place where even weeds refused to grow, and then she poured the water onto the dry desert sand. Every single day, people watched from a distance. At first, they were confused. Then they began to question her. Why waste water? Nothing grows there. You are too old for this. Some laughed. Some shook their heads. Some felt sorry for her. But the woman never argued. She never explained. She simply came back the next evening with 2 buckets of water. There was one person who never laughed. A little girl from the neighborhood. She was curious and quiet. She would follow the old woman sometimes, staying a few steps behind. One day, she finally asked, "Grandmother, why do you water the sand?" The old woman smiled gently. "Because one day," she said softly, "it will not be sand." The little girl did not understand. There were no seeds, no plants, no sign of life, only dry earth that cracked under the sun. Still, she liked being there. She would sit beside the woman while the water slowly disappeared into the ground. Sometimes they talked about small things, clouds, words, dreams. Sometimes they sat in silence. The woman liked the girl's presence. The girl liked the woman's peace. Years passed. The girl grew taller. The woman grew slower. But every evening, the buckets came. Even on windy days. Even when the sky looked empty. Even when people said, "It is useless." The desert remained quiet. But beneath the surface, something was changing. One morning, after many years, the little girl, now almost a young woman, ran to the desert before sunset. She stopped. There, near the place where the water had been poured for so long, something small and green pushed through the sand. A tiny plant. Fragile, soft, alive. She felt her heart beat faster. That evening, when the old woman arrived, the girl pointed to the ground with trembling hands. The woman looked. Her eyes filled with gentle tears. She did not look surprised. She only nodded. "Life remembers," she whispered. From that day on, more green began to appear. Slowly, one plant became 2, 2 became 10. The soil grew darker. The air felt softer. Birds began to visit. Small insects returned. Seasons changed. Rain came more often. What was once dry and empty became a small, beautiful oasis. Clear water gathered in a shallow pool. Trees stretched toward the sky. Wild flowers painted the ground with color. And one day, rare animals, once disappearing from that land, found shelter there. The village people came to see it. They stood in silence. The same place they once called useless had become full of life. Someone asked the old woman, "How did you know this would happen?" She smiled. "I didn't," she said. "I only knew that doing nothing would change nothing." Years later, the little girl, now a grown woman, stood beside the oasis. The old woman was no longer there, but her work was. Birds nested in the trees. The endangered animals moved safely among the shade. The grown girl remembered her question long ago. Why water the sand? Now she understood. Not everything grows overnight. Not everything shows results quickly. Some things need faith. Some things need patience. Some things need someone who refuses to stop. And sometimes, all it takes to change a desert is one person who keeps carrying water.
Thank you for watching.